Sasquatch. Fuck.
Nate, do you want to hold the orb?
Damn it!
Mine's a short little segment on curses.
Yeah, I will do that. I do want to say that we're going to find
No, it's
Bigfoot
not.
before the end of November.
Grizzly witches, grizzly
Yes.
witches.
If
Yeah, we
you
are.
donate $200 to us on our Patreon,
We'll find them.
we'll find
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
This
We'll find 'em.
is our NaNoWriMo.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this thing. We're definitely gonna finish the Bigfoot hunt.
Every November we will find Bigfoot,
Yes.
and we'll let him go again, and then we'll find him again.
Yeah, we've got a catch and release policy.
Mm-hmm. We're also, we're gonna plug it again, but we're gonna be playing the Bigfoot video game on Steam or on Twitch tomorrow, and I couldn't be more, or today I couldn't be more
We'll
excited.
play a
might
little
jump into
bit.
it early.
It's already downloaded and ready.
2 p.m. Mountain Time. Come see if we're on.
We will be.
So I'm going to ease into Bigvember by sort of coming away from the witchcraft. This will be the last bit of Southern Cunning that we get
You
into.
don't suffer that witch withdrawal, you know? You got to do it slowly.
Yeah, no, I'm in Spellinon. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Witch Father. So this is less about witchcraft purely and more about various satanic icons.
Is this like a witch version of The Godfather?
Yes. There's a lot of deals you can't refuse.
Bring me a toast. Bring me an eye of newt and some calf's tongue. I'm making a quiche.
There's a great moment where the devil has an orange slice in his mouth and he smiles at a kid.
It
And
really
then that
humanizes.
then the kid's flesh all melts.
Sure.
And his soul is dragged to hell.
Yeah. It
And he
really
laughs
humanizes
through the
him
orange.
for a second. And then you're like, oh, that rascal, Jack Scratch.
This is chapter 14, The Witch Father of Southern Cunning. The Witch Father is not an easy figure to talk about, although we do it all the time. It seems pretty simple.
Sure, we've done it a couple of times since.
Yeah.
Now I'm like trying to count how many times I said it. I'm like, uh-oh. Is this a Beetlejuice?
You just Beetlejuiced him.
Oh no, only one more time.
Yeah, well, it might be Candyman rules. That'd be
5.
5, yeah. The Witch Father is not even a singular entity at all. There are many, probably countless spirits that make witches. I find it unlikely that who I call the Witch Father matches up to the one the reader may call to. The devil, Satan, Lucifer, Pan, Azazel, Sinurnos, and Old Scratch are all Witch Fathers.
I choose Pan, the goat-legged fanboy of sex.
That's a pretty good one.
I choose Onyx. Wait, what? Plant? Pan is plant type, right? Shit.
Yeah, I think. He might be
Get my
earth
ass
plant.
whooped. Onyx get his ass whooped by Pan.
Oh yeah, Pan fucks up Onyx all day.
Change my choice. I'll think about it later.
You'll get that witch badge.
Mhm.
Some folk think they're all the same. I don't reckon they are. When I talk about the Witch Father for myself, I'm talking about the Black Woodsman.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, what?
Cool.
Yeah, the Silver Bullet describes the Black Woodsman as a tall black man with long curly hair wielding an axe. In the story, he shows a gritty old man where to find treasure at the price of the man's soul. While it's a good story and the name fits the Witch Father, this is not the relationship I have with him. Now, I'm going to get to the Black Woodsman.
I hope
or
this is
Wikipedia.
like Megan McCain and her father. Let me tell you about my relationship.
It's a little different unless you count John McCain among the greatest historical pirates.
I do, kinda, but go on.
So this is the story of the Black Woodsman. Is most well known in an 1824 collection of Washington Irving Tales of a Traveler of the Devil and Tom Walker.
Oh yeah, I know that story.
Yep, I'm familiar. Go on.
This is the Black Woodsman is this devil. The story first recounts the legend of the pirate William Kidd, who's rumored to have buried a large treasure in a forest in colonial Massachusetts. And, of course, William the Kidd was later stripped and killed and hung inside of a weird crow's nest that fit directly onto his body for everyone in Massachusetts to see.
Yes.
You can't bury treasure there anymore.
Also, Oak Island, I think, might have his treasure.
It probably is the Legend of Oak Island, yeah. Kid made a deal with the devil to protect his money. The devil's conditions are unknown. He died never being able to reclaim it, but the devil has protected it ever since, which is kind of a weird thing for the devil to keep doing a job for a mortal.
For a mortal, yeah. Like the devil
Usually
has better things to do, I assume.
Yeah, you would think. Especially since that's, what's 1600 something?
He should have his life together, and I'm worried about the devil, if we're going to be honest.
Well, like the book says, there are many other devils.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, if the Black Woodsman is otherwise protecting a buried treasure,
Oh boy.
you can just go to Azazel, coming right out of Jordan's face.
Sorry.
The story continues around 1727. Tom Walker, a greedy, selfish miser of a man, cherishes money along with his shrewish and equally greedy wife. They lived in a tarnished-looking house that had stood alone and had an air of starvation. This is, of course, until he takes a walk in the swamp of an old Indian fortress, I'm thinking they mean indigenous, a relic of King Philip's War of 1675 to 78, and starts up a conversation with the devil incarnate, referred here as Old Scratch or the Black Man. Old Scratch appears as a lumberjack or a woodsman chopping trees, each with a prominent and wealthy colonialist's name branded on the trunk.
The old Scratch here looks exactly like the Brownie Man.
Yeah, basically the same dude.
What does that mean?
A lot of flannel in hell. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, nice. The Brawny. I thought you said the Brownie Man, and I was like, is that a
the
thing?
Brownie Man.
Is that like a fucking cheetah chimp?
He's a leprechaun lumberjack.
Okay.
It's a reference to Kevin Pollak in the movie Willow.
Oh yeah. Okay. He chops down the brownies in the brownie forest. I get it.
One rotted and soon-to-fall tree has the name of a deacon who grew wealthy, quote-unquote, trading with the natives. Another fallen tree trunk has that of a wealthy seaman rumored to be a pirate. Old Scratch strikes a deal with Tom Walker, offering the riches hidden in the swamp by Captain Kidd in exchange for a great price, which is often thought to be his soul. This is where Wikipedia disagrees with old Aberon in Southern Cunning. Tom agrees to think about it and returns home. While Tom is perfectly willing to sell himself to Old Scratch for the treasure, he does not do so at first, as it would mean having to share the treasure with his wife.
I'm not going to share that treasure with the woman I love.
I'm thinking maybe he doesn't. Also, Kylie is quite mad at you right now. What she doesn't know is your treasure is just this podcast, and
I love this
frankly,
podcast.
After he tells her of his meeting, she meets with Old Scratch herself, but tells her husband that Old Scratch requires an offering. When Tom's away, she takes all of their valuables in and goes to make a deal with Old Scratch. Tom then searches for his wife and property. I'm thinking more for the property. And all he finds is her apron holding her heart and liver tied to a tree.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so Devil's taking everything in this case.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Takes what he wants.
I mean, except for that liver.
Well, he didn't need the liver or the heart. I guess he's got enough.
I've got a liver, actually. It's back in hell.
Oddly enough, the devil's body is his temple, and he keeps it fucking clean. Liver's fine.
The devil's body is his temple.
Tom Walker agrees to Old Scratch's deal as he considers his abusive wife's death a good thing. Because he can only use the treasure in Old Scratch's service, Tom agrees to become a usurer, or a loan shark, after refusing to become a slave trader. So the devil was either saying you can slave trade, and even this miserly piece of shit is like, yeah, no. This is 1727, my friend. That shit should not be happening.
So what you're saying is the devil really isn't granting you a fortune. He's really just kind of giving you career advice, and he has a network of people he can set you up with, but you still have to do the work.
Yeah, the devil's basically an investor. He's VC.
All right.
During the governorship of Jonathan Belcher, speculation runs rampant and Walker's business flourishes. Because he's a loan shark. I don't know
And
what they were
people are
speculating
poor.
on in 1730. I would guess that game where you bet on where a chicken shits, the chicken bingo thing, mostly.
Yeah, and I think the poor loan sharking, I think he was just a bad man in general.
Oh, yeah. Becoming a member of the local stock exchange, Tom buys a big house and a coach, but furnishes neither, even though he has the money, because he's so miserly that he even half-starves his horses.
Wow.
He never tires of swindling people until towards the end of his life, he suddenly becomes fearful about his soul, and then becomes an obsessive churchgoer, singing hymns in church as loud as possible, louder than all the other parishioners.
Wow.
And
if I sing loud, God will save me.
Yeah, God. Yeah.
This is also kind of interesting because they said the same thing about the Bell Witch, or the woman who supposedly was controlling the spirit of the Bell Witch. She would go to church and she would come in late and then sing louder than the entire church room. That's how you knew she was there. Like, oh yeah, Mary's.
Can you just
hanging out.
imagine that in the time contemporary, just going like, oh my God, Mrs. Bell's here.
Well, the Bells were the hated elements of the Bell Witch. She haunts them.
No, well, I forgot the story. Go on.
I understand. But they both take place in Massachusetts, if I'm remembering correctly, unless Bell Witch might be Pennsylvania's. Either way, it's weird.
Look, we're not good.
These people singing loudly in church are apparently the bad ones.
Yeah, that's a real signifier.
Thinking that any sin on his neighbor's account is a credit to his own. He's said to have even had his best riding horse saddled and buried upside down in the belief that in the last days the world will be turned upside down and he will then try to outride Old Scratch.
See, now that's hilarious.
That's
I thought so.
Awesomely hilarious.
Well, he was also figuring that all of Revelations was going to come true in his lifetime, which he's at the end of.
Yeah.
And I mean, isn't this is like the most burgeoning time in American history?
Change is scary, man.
One day, a ruined stock jobber who had borrowed money from him asks for clemency and annoys Tom, who says, "The devil take me if I've made a farthing." There are immediately 3 loud knocks at the door. Tom is drawn towards a black-cloaked figure and realizes in horror that he's left his Bibles at his desk. Take your Bible with you.
Oh, dude, even to answer the door. Seriously.
Just in case.
If you're throwing around some shit like that, and then there's a knock at the door, dude.
Yeah,
this is on you.
Answer the door.
Or at least grab the Bible.
Get your Bible and do the social distancing thing like I've been doing with Domino's and tell them to leave it on the porch.
Yeah. And then when they turn around, you're already there. And then
that's
kill
when
them,
you do the killing.
and you get the pizza for free.
Well, I mean, you have to order it online with your credit card.
You generally already paid for
This
it.
is what happens to avoid tip.
You tell me.
Yep.
There's always a price, however.
There's always a price.
Old Scratch tosses Tom Walker on the back of a black horse, which rides toward the old fortress and disappears in lightning.
Whoa, that's a good horse.
It's a pretty solid horse. Tom
That's
is
a
never
fucking
seen again.
DeLorean moves.
Yeah, he's died. He died and the devil took him.
He went to the year 2020. 2018. What was it?
I was going to
2015?
guess he goes to either 2050 or 1955 or 1988.
Sure.
Tom's never seen again. All his assets become worthless. His coach horses become skeletons.
Oh.
The gold and silver Tom hoarded turns into wood chips and shavings. His mortgages and deeds become cinders, and
Tom!
his great house burns to the ground.
Tom,
His
dumb
ghost.
dick. Why do we even get Bible? Why do we even get door Bibles if you're not going to use them?
His ghost still haunts the site of the old fortress. His only legacy is a New England saying, "The devil and Tom Walker."
That's a saying.
Yeah. So that is...
How would you use that saying?
Yeah, use it in a saying.
Use it in a saying, please.
Okay, ask me if I know anybody who has recently made any usurious deals.
Do you know anybody who's ever made any usurious deals?
The devil and Tom Stock walk. Damn it!
Fucking. Do we start the podcast over?
Yep,
I think we have to.
Let's redo it.
I've been here for 8 hours. Please, Roger. My podcasting
we'll
bones
do it.
are
Perfect.
sore. All right.
So that's the story of the Black Woodsman as far as goes back in American tale history.
Damn. That's
One
cool.
of the witch fathers.
But yeah, so we're back to old Mr. Oberon there. The Black Woodsman is the devil of the trees.
Mm.
He's the bridge between what is wild and dangerous reaching out towards humans. He is not feral, but he is not tame. He wields lightning and claims what is his.
Mm.
From the weak, he claims souls. From the strong, he claims loyalty.
Whoa.
He's an excellent general. In witches, he can stoke the fire and ride with them on the wild hunt. In the same story, he reveals another of his names, the Wild Huntsman.
So what does stoking the fire mean in this context?
I think just, like amping you up to go do some witchcraft.
Like he's one of the people that you can summon or something?
Yeah, he's the drummer with the double pedal.
Yeah, he's your witchcraft hype man.
Right, you have to unlock him before you can light the fires, before you can go on the witch flight, before you can
degrease the witch
Get
queen.
to the wizard's dungeon and defeat Count Dracula.
Yes.
Exactly. The Black
Werewolf
Woodsman...
Radar's Castlevania pitch 2020.
The Black Woodsman is my devil, my witch father, the one who found me as a child and took me on my first hunt. He is who guides me on this journey, who has taken from me, eaten me, and built me. I have eaten from him and fought with him. He has humored me and drank with me. He's not the same as Satan, though many have called him that. He is not Cernunnos, even though I have called him that. He is an American devil and makes American witches. He's the motherfucking Ford truck of witchery.
I want to put that on an American flag.
He is not an infallible god. He has
That's
been
very
tricked
good.
by the ones who he has given his cunning fire to. He is as funny as he is demanding, which really could go either way. He can be lighthearted and stern. I do not view the Black Woodsman as a terrifying figure to bow down to. I respect him as a father, one who's experienced and worthy of respect and loyalty. That does not always mean we agree. He has a secret name, and he has told me and etched onto my heart. For now, we will do well to say that the witch father of Southern Cunning is the Black Woodsman. So you've heard it here. Well, I was going to say first, but I suppose other people might have this book. You've heard it here sometimes. The witch father is the official. The witch father of Southern Cunning officially is the Black Woodsman. Your witch father may have horns or scales or wings. He may be she of the stars or the dirt or the sea. They may come to you in many shapes and sizes and varying levels of humanity. They may be spirits of the land or of blood or of spirit. I like spirits of spirit. I cannot tell you who your witch initiator will be. I cannot tell you who your familiar will be. I cannot tell you what your initiation may be like. Do not try and make your experience mimic any other witches, least of all mine. This is towards the end of the book, and he's been telling you all about how to initiate yourself into the devil's work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's telling you, by the way, you can't do that.
What?
So, thanks, man.
Yeah, what's the point then?
Read this book is the next sentence.
Well, I guess that's the point.
Read this book and dozens more like it. Learn from them and learn from others. Use what resonates, but don't try to mimic. Read the folklore. Use what resonates, but don't try to mimic. If what you hear in folklore does not feel organic in your hands, it is not right for you. By the way, if you're feeling chud butter, it is organic in your hands.
That's true.
When the spirits come to you, when the witch father lights a fire in you, when you know what you need to do without turning to a book, that is when you are a witch.
Okay.
You heard it here sometime.
Also, you will always have to turn. Witches, don't be afraid to turn to a book. There's nothing wrong with having to write something down. I've been doing comedy for
What, 60 years? 65?
65 years, and I still write jokes before I get on stage.
Yeah,
And
you were one of the original people at Ciro's, right?
it's true. I would get up there and make a joke, and people would be like, "What is this?" Here in the past, we sit down when we tell jokes. We sit down at a small joking booth, and we close the curtain in case anyone's trying to listen in who ought notn't be.
Yeah, the old comic snug.
Yes. Yes.
We'll have many antiquated things this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anyway,
All right.
so worship the devil,
Yep.
follow your witch father, that's how you become a witch.
Worship your own devil.
Yeah, get your own fucking devil.
Yeah,
you
this is kind of a
jackass.
build your own canoe
Yeah,
situation.
pull yourself up by your own
Whatever.
boot horns and
Yeah,
get a devil.
boot horns.
Okay,
Okay.
shall we continue with the
Yeah.
last segment?
I think so.
Excellent. So, election time. None of that matters. The real question is, well, a lot of it matters. The point is the White House haunted?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have from the Washington Post a history of spooked presidents, prime ministers, and pets.
These are just scared presidents.
I know about this. I know about this. I know a little bit about this.
So this is from Teresa Vargas, and it goes as such. On a lonely night in 1946, President Harry S. Truman went to bed at 9 p.m. 6 hours later, he heard it. And it goes, knock, knock, knock. The sound against his bedroom door awakened him. He wrote to his wife in a letter that is archived in his presidential library and museum.
Whoa.
All right, now this is just the sound of Abraham Lincoln's headboard smashing from the smashing.
Yeah, because he was plowing his body, or his bodyguard was plowing him real
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
I jumped
I'm
up.
going to say he was plowing his own body.
Listen, he was a lanky man. He could do a lot of things. Harry S. Truman writes, I jumped up and put on my bathrobe, opened the door, and no one was there. Went out and looked up and down the hall, looked in your room and Margie's. Still no one. Went back to bed after locking the doors. There were footsteps in your room whose door I left open. Jumped up and looked and no one there. This
I
damn
even-
place is haunted for sure as shooting.
Yes.
Secret Service
yes.
said not even a watchman was up there that hour.
Yes. Check
then it-
all of the spaces.
And then it goes off, or it continues, and he says, you and Margie had better come back and protect me before some of these ghosts carry me off.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is.
Well-
It's adorable. I love it.
He's is he just being haunted by the knowledge that, you know, he ended World War II?
I mean, I think
Pretty
he's
emphatically.
legitimate ghost.
You know, it's I think you nailed it right in the first one. It's Abraham Lincoln getting it on from the great beyond.
Just getting railed by his
Getting
bodyguard.
it on in the Lincoln get on-atorium.
Yeah, you take a UV light in there, you're not just going to find fingerprints.
Goo.
So here are some of the sightings.
Mhm.
Not gone into really, but we have documented eerie detail by scholars and newspapers that involve a former president who appears when the nation needs a leader the most, a daughter who pleads in vain to help her doomed mother, and a first lady who is, sadly, perpetually stuck doing laundry.
So this is
Yes.
all about the Trump family.
There's some, slight jabs here or there at certain people. Jared Broach says, and he is the founder of the company Nightly Spirits, which offers tours of haunted areas in several cities across the country. But when he first started, the only one he offered was the White House. So this man is an expert ex-White House ghosts.
So you can do a
Okay.
haunted tour of the White House
Yes, man.
from Nightly Spirits, which sounds like a Canadian late night talk show.
Where do you think the president's paycheck comes from? It comes solely from the profits of Nightly Spirits, funding presidents since 2012.
Truly.
They're kind of a PBS type organization.
No, they're per profit. They just have to rent out the White House, and it comes at around $400,000 every quarter.
All right.
The White House has the best ghosts, Jared Broach says.
There's
I'd
no
call
way
them
that's
the
true.
most verified.
What?
Yeah,
This
they're
sounds
blue-
like Trump wrote it.
Yeah, they're blue
honest-
checkmarked on Twitter.
Honestly,
Most
we could do a 10-hour
verified.
tour if we really wanted to.
Of all the best ghosts on television, I fired them all.
One of his favorite ghosts
Fucking
is
suck shit.
Our spirit scat's huge. Biggest spirit scat you've ever seen.
Spirit scat, baby. Skilap boop bop skibop bop.
So the ghost that he likes the most goes by the name of David Burns, who sold the land where the White
I
House
also
sits.
like David Byrne.
He's second. He's second favorite ghost. First is Sex Lincoln,
So,
obviously. Hey, how do you think he got on that nickel?
so
He got off
David
on it
Burns, you can hear his voice in the Oval Office, and he says, "I'm Mr. Burns." Broach would always say during his tours.
Really?
That is a pretty weak ghost element.
Yeah.
Just announcing yourself
Okay,
with
and
your
how?
voice.
Okay, so you're gonna haunt the White House, huh? What do you got planned? This is a big gig. What do
Listen.
you got planned?
Broach says, if you say that's weak, he says, you'd be calling about 8 different presidents liars.
Well, we're up to what, 45 now? I'm willing to say 45 of them are liars.
Mr. Burns here.
So let's get into
least they
sexy
I agree.
Lincoln.
I agree. That's a shitty ghost tactic.
Yeah,
That's a
throw
bad
a-
scare.
Throw a jar or something.
Throw a jar, or even lie. Say this isn't Mr. Burns. This is Demonica, the Scaremancer, or something. Come on, Mr. Burns, shit down. It's right there. Just saying, you can do better
easy.
than this. Dig deep.
Come on, get honey.
Teresa goes on and she writes, one of the ghosts would be Abraham Lincoln. He has reportedly received nope. Let me say all that again like a human who read this.
Okay, just so you know, when you say Sex Lincoln again, I'm
Yeah.
gonna a vuvuzella's gonna go off.
All right. Well, one of the presidents who saw a ghost would be Sex Lincoln.
He saw a ghost.
He saw a ghost.
Whoa, near
So,
the inception of Sex
Sexy
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Maybe he saw it and he was like,
That looks like it's for me.
Sexy Lincoln got regular visits from his son Willie, who died in the White House in 1862 at the age of 11.
"Whoa, oh, I'm sorry, Willie."
Yeah, that's a
Mary
much
Todd
bigger
Lincoln.
bummer than I thought it was going to be.
It was typhoid. It was just something he died of. Everyone was doing it. Mary Todd Lincoln was so grief-stricken by the loss that she remained in her room for weeks and spoke of seeing her son's ghost once at the foot of her bed. There are also reports of her hearing Thomas Lincoln playing the violin and Andrew Jackson swearing.
Interesting. Nice.
Mary
Yeah, but-
Todd Lincoln saw every ghost.
To this day, though, if you go into the White House, you can hear Andrew Jackson screaming from an echo chamber.
I feel like Andrew Jackson swore enough in the White House that it's still bouncing around in there somehow.
And Lincoln, of course, is a ghost. First Lady Grace Coolidge spoke in a
Oddly enough,
magazine.
Andrew Jackson also related to the Bell Witch story.
Yes, he is. I remember
Oh,
that
that's
part.
right. He makes a trip, right?
Yeah, he goes out there and then he accuses them of being liars because no one haunts them.
Yeah. I mean,
Andrew
good on him.
Jackson, awful man.
Yeah.
So
Can't even
First
have
Lady,
a good time in a haunted house.
First Lady Grace Coolidge spoke in a magazine about Lincoln looking out of a window in what had been his office at the time. So now let's get into some diplomats of sorts. Queen Wilhelmina, thank you, of Netherlands was sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom when she reportedly heard a knock on her bedroom. Opened it to see Lincoln, and she fainted.
It's me.
Oh, he was just
Sex Lincoln.
yeah, he was about to give her the old Louis C.K. treatment, but
What I asked.
British Prime Minister Winston Churchill stepped out of the hot bath, and in that same room, wearing nothing but a cigar.
I was about to make
encountered-
a stupid cigar joke.
So he took a bath, it was naked, had a cigar still, and he encountered Lincoln by the fireplace, totally nude.
Good God, man.
In his report, he told the ghost of Lincoln, "Good evening, Mr. President. You seem
Good
to have me at a disadvantage."
Good evening, Mr. President. You seem to have me at a disadvantage.
And he said 4 inches to go. Sometimes a cigar is not a cigar.
What do you say we step on over into the Lincoln Sexatorium? I'll tell
right.
you something, son. What do you guys think about my Lincoln? I am working on it. He sounds. I'm trying
Higher
to.
pitched.
I am trying
You
to.
should have a
Higher.
nasally voice.
Higher.
Hi,
Nasally.
my name
4
is
7 years
Lincoln.
ago.
7 years ago.
I think that's
Perfect.
Abraham
Oh,
Lincoln.
it's me,
Yep.
Sex Lincoln. Get in here, Churchill.
You know what? I'm coming around to the ghosts just saying their own names now. When it's Sex Lincoln.
It's me and my friend, Mr. Burns.
He's all eyebrows and stovepipe hat. He's wearing a towel for some reason. Lincoln, did you even die in a towel? What's going on here?
This 4th of July, we're having spit roast.
I was wearing a towel at the theater. They asked me to leave. I wouldn't.
There are more ghosts, of course. Dolly Madison is just taking care of the garden. You can see her ghost just walking throughout.
I like that.
What else is there? I mean, just everyone who's been there literally has been seen as a ghost. Not the newer presidents as of late. There's been no Nixon. I don't think anyone's seen a Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost of
Lincoln
Barack
is the
Obama's
most.
been smudged out.
Unfortunately,
I did see that the
Lincoln's the most common seen one, though.
Sure. He didn't want to leave. He liked it a lot. I've heard that there's been reports of an orange gargoyle hanging around the White House. You know, in the kitchen at night, eating Totino's pizza rolls cold, sucking on them like Werther's.
How do you eat your pizza roll? Stop insulting the good people who suck their pizza rolls.
Hey, come on. No way.
And that's all I have for the haunted White House.
Well, hey, that's pretty wild. I also heard that in the Library of Congress in the basement, there are reports of a phantom cat. So there's a lot of interesting DC hauntings, and there's a lot of ghost walks you can go on out in that direction. But you know what, guys? This does it for the first episode
Of
November. Big Vember. We want you guys to be extra vigilant out there. We want you to spread the news. Bigfoot is Thanksgiving.
Bigfoot is Thanksgiving.
November.
No more
Bigfoot,
turkeys. Just
no more
Bigfoot.
turkeys. Bigfoot. We want to spread we want 50 years from now, we want people to celebrate Thanksgiving with Bigfoot garlands, and they tell their kids like, oh, if you go down to the woods today, you better be in disguise. For every Bigfoot that ever there was is having a picnic in the woods, and that's what happens on Thanksgiving. So stay tuned. We're going to be playing the Bigfoot the video game on our Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/werewolf_radar. It's a mouthful, but it looks less crazy on paper. Get in there.
Yes.
We're having fun. Adam P's been in there modding for us. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you. Shout out to Kylie for hanging out in the Zoom room alongside said Twitch mod. And that's it. Where did everybody
Sil,
go?
thank you
So
as
was in
well.
here for a minute.
It's Sil was in here for a minute also.
I think she
if
had to
you-
go wrangle her ghost children.
Absolutely. If you guys are patrons, please hop in the Zoom room on Sundays. We have a lot of fun in between the spooky podcast recordings, and you get to see how the sausage is made and make fun of us when we fuck up and help contribute to the show. Even our patrons have
Written a lot
really
of jokes.
helped with a lot of jokes and even just kind of streamlining and helping out. So we appreciate you guys. If you're not a patron, go to Werewolf. What is it? Patreon.com/where you
Werewolf
find us.
Radar.
Put it in there. You can join for less than $1. You get an extra episode every week. It's called the Grave Nugget. You get access to the Patreon or to the Zoom room and to the Discord channels.
Yep, secret access to our special pages on our website.
Hell yeah. Dark Council.
Even
Join
more
the Dark Council
even
today.
more content there.
It's more important than ever in Bigvember.
Yes.
That's the slogan of the month.
It's I think it's the most important thing happening this month. Vote. And also follow us on the Twitter. I'm Razor Lou out there.
I am Exploder.
I'm Pig Mannix.
And Instagram and Twitch and all of that shit. And it's gonna be a great time. And I think that about does it for this episode of Werewolf Radar, you guys. Until next time, as always, punch the sky, Spaceman Joe!